Coming up on this episode of NPS Now, Berkeley Compostela Early Childhood Center received a prestigious award from Apple. Students at Norfolk Technical Center learned about possibilities after graduation. And Norfolk Public Schools introduced its theory of action at the Mid-Year Leadership Institute. Later in the show, we'll talk with Norfolk School Board Vice Chair Dr. Noelle Gabriel. Plus, Steve Suppmiller with sports. All that and more next on NPS Now. Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. Berkeley Compostela Early Childhood Center students, staff, and stakeholders celebrated being named an Apple Distinguished School during a special assembly. The program featured several speakers who congratulated the school for this outstanding achievement, and later, teachers and paraprofessionals were recognized for earning their Apple certifications.
The progress is phenomenal. And listen, Dr. White, the principal here, always says college begins at pre-K. College and careers begin at pre-K, and that's so true. And as we think about our district redesign and our focus on literacy and rigor and readiness for higher learning, it starts right here, this foundation. So everything they're getting that's being enhanced by this technology is going to front load their success as they go into kindergarten and the years beyond.
I want our students to become globally competitive. I want to instill in them the love for learning and that they will take these technology initiatives that are taking place with them as they transfer to other schools and continue to have this innate ability to want to be a STEM learner as they go through their elementary, middle, and high school careers.
Berkeley Compostela received the Distinguished School Award only 2 years after being named an Apple ConnectEd school, making this accomplishment even more impressive. A partnership between Booker T. Washington High School and the company Black Brand led to business owners from around the area interacting with Booker T students.
We are here at our first annual entrepreneurship fair. There are approximately 40 African American business owners who are here today to share tips and information with our students about how they can go into business for themselves. While we always promote our students going to college and gaining the skills that they need, we also want to make sure we share with our students what they can do to become business owners so that they can come back into the societies where they've grown up and give back. The students are enjoying it. They're seeing that something as simple as a hobby can turn into a business for them where they can earn 6 and 7 figures. So they are just excited about the exposure, the opportunity, the networking, so that they know that once they graduate from high school or even while they're still in high school, there's a way for them to be successful.
Senior Jonathan Bryan had what he described as an amazing experience, and he took away some very valuable nuggets.
To learn that nobody is low class, that everybody is high class in their own way, that everybody has their own talents, passions, that to chase after your dreams, don't let them just wither away, and to just be yourself. Pass high school and do what you want in life.
Granby High School held their annual CTE Career Fair for juniors and seniors in the school's media center. The event, which is sponsored by the school's Future Business Leaders of America, enabled over 350 students to talk with about 25 vendors throughout the morning. Individuals from several businesses, local colleges, the military, and other groups were all on hand to offer students a variety of options to consider for their future.
So today is Career Day, annual Career Day, and it's a great chance for students to obtain a lot of information about different fields of work, and they're doing a great deal of networking with different vendors here. We have many RTC students here, so it's great to see them talk to people who are already in that position and get a first-hand account of what it's like in the future.
We could find all the information online, but it is much more beneficial for someone to speak with someone with the experience, of a Marine officer or a Navy officer. I feel like that would be much more beneficial to speak with them and ask for their experience and their advice.
They've definitely responded. They're excited to be able to get out of class and to come down and talk with the employers. So when they found out that Norfolk Emerging Leaders here, there was tons of excitement. They're like, no, I really need to talk to them because some have participated in the program before in the past, and so they look forward to being able to sign up again.
We take about 250 high school students, and we place them in different departments throughout the city of Norfolk. They include Slover, the libraries, Public Works. They can work over in City Hall. We have some positions at the zoo. So we're just here advertising that, hoping to get some, hopeful applicants.
I think all schools should have a career fair, and they should all be able to encompass all what the Norfolk and the area, the Hampton Roads, all the opportunities to give the kids to open their mind to explore where they could be and where they want to go for the future. I'm looking forward to talking to more kids to give them an opportunity and talk about not only about with the opportunity with MSC, but just exploring their vision and exploring their pathways and where they want to be at in life.
Nearly 50 businesses, government agencies, and schools were on hand for Norfolk Technical Center's College and Career Fair. Representatives from these various groups spent the morning talking with students about opportunities available to them after high school. This annual event not only provides students with valuable information, it can also be the first step toward a successful career.
Basically, we're just encompassing our mission here at NTC. Our mission here is to prepare students for college, career, and life. So we have a plethora of different organizations here in the community. We have some schools, we have some local businesses, so the students can experience, and in some situations they are taking applications. It allows the students to see the different opportunities that are available for them. It's very important because they can ask a lot of the questions that they may not have the answers to. And being able to ask a physical person compared to having to research it themselves, and also it's a chance for them to make those connections and those relationships with those different organizations.
Us being in Norfolk, we really don't get out as much as we should, so I feel like for us not being able to get out as we should, they came here, and that was a great outlet for us, to see what other opportunities there was for us to, try at the high school or even in high school. Some of the jobs that came here today was some jobs that we could do in high school, even if it wasn't like a main position, like an assistant position, or things like that. It was very appreciative of.
Creative Nation gave 20 students at Lake Taylor High School tickets to a special screening of the film Black Panther in an effort to help alleviate the hardship of the loss of a classmate. Superintendent Dr. Melinda J. Boone and School Board Chair Rodney Jordan were also on hand to thank Creative Nation and show their support for these students. Norfolk Public Schools administrators spent a morning gaining plenty of positive energy at the Mid-Year Leadership Institute. The highlight of the event was a formal introduction of the district's theory of action, which focuses on leadership, literacy, rigor, and innovation. To showcase this promise to students, every department did a brief presentation illustrating how they're connecting their daily work to implementation of the theory of action.
Oh, the energy is great. People feel inspired. In fact, one of the presenters said to me moments ago, one of the principals asked, are we going to get to see all the boards? And she said, oh no, there's not enough time. Well, we want to see all the boards. So we see that as a really good sign that the district is coming together as one in support of kids. This is, and we don't say this everywhere we go, but this is our favorite place to work because people are committed to making a difference in the lives of kids, and they come to work every day to do just that.
I think today is really about understanding that it is about all of us, and all of our efforts and what we do individually impacts the district collectively, impacts the district as a whole. And so we all have a part to play in making sure that every student gets the quality instruction that they deserve every day in every classroom by each and every one of us, no exception.
Norview High School was the site of a meet and greet between teachers and their coaches as part of the Teacher and Residence Program. This unique partnership between Norfolk Public Schools and Old Dominion University is designed to increase the number of math and science teaching candidates in hard-to-staff schools. The first meeting had attendees learning about a variety of educational topics, including the new Every Student Succeeds Act.
This is the first day that our new cohort of residents meet their coaches. So this is a meet and greet to get to know each other as well as get trained, because this training is so necessary. We have a different style of teaching here going on for this preparation program, and it requires coaching of adults in a different way than perhaps a traditional student-teaching relationship would require. So we really want them to get to know each other, build rapport, and really feel that sense of collaboration.
So the teachers that we already have in place in programs, we've supported them, whether it's through things that they need for the classroom or just being able to reach their students. But actually, it's also just a bit of, checking in with them and seeing what they need and how they're doing. It's awesome. With the teacher shortage in Virginia, period, this is a great way to begin teachers on their career and to have them have this in-classroom training and support.
If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to contact us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Stay tuned for more NPS Now.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Setmiller, Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today in the studio, we have Coach Cornell Parker from Maury High School. Coach, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, February is a big month for student athletes. It's National Signing Day, and we had a number of athletes across the district that were able to sign national letters of intent to go on to further their academic career and athletic career. So, as a coach and as a counselor, and that's why we have you here, because you're a counselor at Maury High School. What's it like watching a student athlete sign that day, fulfill their dream?
It's a big fulfilling moment. I mean, for everybody, just to see them starting from when they're in the 9th grade on to develop into where they are now and to be able to sign to go to a college to play their sport that they would like is a big deal, very big deal.
Okay, so that's a good question. So the process starts academically as a 9th grader, and we want people to hear that. We don't want people to wait, students to wait, because it's too late if they wait their junior or senior year. So talk a little bit about the process for a student.
It actually starts for some students as an 8th grader, not part as the counselors being a big part of it NCAA-wise, but class-wise, because a lot of students don't know that we're looking at core classes. So some students take biology, foreign language, math, algebra, geometry. So they kind of started their NCAA clock. So what we go back and look and see if they were successful to make sure their core GPA is high enough as before they leave. Then in 9th grade, we explain to them, hey, this is your core GPA, your English, your science, your history, your foreign language. And you want to be above that 2.5, 2.6 compared for the SAT or ACT test-wise.
Okay. So, I mean, we get them, we identify, how do we identify, an athlete or a student athlete that we got to make sure they're in these courses? Or is all 9th graders automatically are in these?
All 9th graders are in these courses, core courses. But then you find the ones that you kind of know that are probably going to want to play sports on. And some coaches may come to you and say, hey, this kid, and we've reached out enough, and even I think the middle school might have said somebody at the NCAA clearinghouse, and we'll talk about that with the students as well. And we're big with the access too. They do a big part of helping us, especially personnel building. Darius Blunt, he does a great job with our student athletes.
All right, so we get this day, February 7th is National Signing Day, and again, across the district, we had a number of student athletes. So, how do coaches assist in coordinating, getting, things in line for an athlete to make sure they can sign that letter?
Reaching out to the coaches and making sure all the paperwork is done. Coach McCain at Moore, he did a great job with the guys that we had signed this year, just making sure everything was in place and making sure the kid is ready to sign. That's a big part, because like right now we have a young man that has 3 or 4 offers on the table that hasn't signed yet, and he's still filling it out what he wants to do. But you just make sure we have everything in place and for them to be ready to sign.
Okay. So how are the parents involved? When do they, what is their involvement?
We have some parents that are really involved, and we have others we have to kind of reel in and tell them things they need to know as a parent for their student to qualify to be a Division I or Division II or Division III athlete. So we try to get them involved as early as 9th and 10th grade, but more so their junior year, I think we give them more because it's really about to happen there.
Okay, and then, I mean, you've been doing this for a number of years. How do athletes feel about that day? What's their...
I'm sure they feel great, because you can see the different change of their body movement and just the smile on their face. And when that day comes, the smile on their face, and their family and friends and teachers and coaches get to watch them.
Okay, so I mean, do some athletes have some anxiety? I mean, are they, because they're signing a national letter of intent. how do they know that's the place that they're going to be at?
Well, hoping that they visit and they had a great experience and they can say this is a place that you call home. And I tell that to any students going to college. It has to be a place that not your parents or your coaches, somewhere that you're going to be, say, hey, I can wake up every morning and I'm happy I'm here.
Okay. All right, Coach, you touched on a little bit about Division I athletes or Division II. So talk about, obviously, they all have to have the academics, but to be at that Division I level, you have to have that athletic ability. I mean, everybody wants to be Division I, but that's the bottom line. Right. So talk about the process of determining what level, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or even junior college.
Really comes down to a top Division I school. It's your athletic ability and what you're doing on the field in any sport. I mean, baseball, basketball, football. You have to be that legit athlete. And we've had quite a few athletes from the city of Norfolk that have been to some big schools. But like the kid that went to Oklahoma, Ohio State, Jalen from Lake Tahoe, those type of athletes. You can tell Cam Chancellor.
Right.
So
they have that look.
Yes, and the coaches know they have that look.
Yeah.
So it's nothing wrong with Division II or III, and we try to tell the kids too, whatever fits you, that's where you want to go, and you're going to be successful.
All right. And lately, we've had a number of student athletes, and you're involved in the junior college level. What are the benefits of attending a junior college?
A lot of times kids go for grades or could go for less. They didn't get recruited heavily. It can help you build up your body, but learn the game more. It can help you get academically better and qualify to get into a Division II or Division I school.
Okay. All right, Coach, you're a former athlete, Maury High School basketball player, went on to UVA. Talk a little bit about your experiences then, because it's probably changed a little bit, and then what are some of the changes?
It's changed a lot. The kids are bigger, one thing, but a lot of times now the coaches do not come to the high schools. When I was recruited, every coach from Deon Smith came into Maury High School to watch me play. Now it's more of big venues. So baseball, you have a AAU team travels to Pennsylvania, they'll go there. Or basketball, Boo's facility that does big tournaments. So it's not that coming to the high schools anymore. It's more of you have to play on an AAU team. And I try to tell parents at times, like, they think the high school team is going to make you that. The high school kind of builds you up and kind of fine-tunes you, but you have to be on that AAU team or travel team to be seen. Even field hockey, they go to California and do some other things where all the coaches go to evaluate you.
Okay, so, the process for an athlete, I mean, obviously when you were, you played AAU, but now AAU, man, they start off real young. I mean, you have a son and a daughter doing it. When did how early do coaches start to say, hey, that person has some talent?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Nowadays, they've started early. I didn't get my first offer till 9th grade. Now they'll go 8th, 7th, 6th grade. Matt Coleman was offered in the 8th grade, so D1 school. So they've started to come out early and signal, hey, I want to offer you. So it's a big difference.
Okay, so a lot of good information. So what about Norfolk? I mean, in terms of, how do we continue to push our athletes to the AAU level and stress the number one thing, academics?
And I think that's the big part. We have to be more involved in the community and get the parents more involved. As well as, I think in the middle school, we need to tell the kids too, because all the kids just think they're going to make it, and they don't understand the part of grade-wise. And we've had a few kids that came to high school that maybe didn't do well in the core courses, maybe had a C in algebra, which brings you to a 2.0, and we had to retake the class. One kid I have now he has a 3.0 GPA because he retook some classes. And you have a small window to take those classes. Now, NCAA has changed a lot of things. After your junior year, we have to send your transcript to show that you've taken 11 core courses that are accredited. So we have to inform them that information that they don't know.
Right. Well, again, a lot of parents need that information, and I know our counselors do a nice job getting that out. So very critical. Coach, again, a lot of good information. Appreciate you coming down here.
Thank you.
And continue the great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
All right. More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. We have a very special guest with us today, Vice Chair of the School Board, Dr. Noelle Gabriel. Welcome to NPS Now.
Thanks, Karen. Glad to be here.
And I'm glad to have you here as a representative of our Norfolk School Board to talk about School Board Appreciation Month. But before we do that, I want to know a little bit of information about you. How long have you been on the board, and why did you choose to be a school board member?
I've been on the board since 2012. I was initially appointed, and then in 2016 I was elected. And the reason that I decided to join the board was really to pay it forward. I'm a very proud graduate of Norfolk Public Schools. I feel like I had a great educational experience here, and Little Creek Elementary, Azalea, Granby High School, and I wanted to pay it forward for future students and staff members to let them know that it's all worthwhile, and to give back to the division that gave so much to me.
So what is the work of the school board specifically? What do you all do?
The school board does three main things, actually. So the first thing is that we set policy. So we have a big overarching vision that we have for the division, and then we enact policies in place. Some of the big policies that we've worked on this past year, for example, are family engagement policy. We've pushed and voted for a suicide prevention policy and postvention policy. One of the other items that we will look at is we hire and we evaluate our superintendent. Analogy that would be fitting would be like a sports team. You have a manager, and then the manager determines a coach, and the coach is the one who basically looks at his players and organizes the different tactics that are going to be used to win the game. And that's what our superintendent functions as. We're the managers, and then we manage the superintendent. And the last thing that we do, and probably very important, especially this time of year, is we put forth a budget that expresses our needs and where we want to take that vision to our city council. Because our board, unlike a lot of other boards across the country, we do not have a taxing authority. So we propose a budget to the city council, and then the city council determines how they are willing to fund our budget. You know, we're funded through three different entities, really. A city portion, our biggest portion comes from the state, and then we have a small portion that's from the federal government. So policy, hiring the superintendent, evaluating the superintendent, and then sending a budget.
That's a lot of work.
It is.
And you all have full-time jobs.
We do have full-time jobs, but this is a labor of love that I feel like all of us do. We want to serve our community, and we all feel that education is probably the most impactful way that we can do this.
So, after serving on the board for a while, what do you think is some of the biggest challenges you have faced serving on this board?
Well, our board truthfully likes to look at challenges as opportunities. So we know that we have several schools in our division that are really making good strides towards full accreditation. And what we'd like to do is look at these schools and praise them for all of the good achievements that they've done, whether it be perfect attendance, teachers coming and staying within the buildings, PTA membership, all of that. And so while we know that we have issues in our schools, we tend to look at them as opportunities for improvement and ways to look at success.
What do you enjoy most about serving on the board?
I really enjoy doing the school visits. Yeah, I really get a lot of, it's just wonderful to go and see great things that are happening within our school buildings. Teachers are being very creative with their lesson plans. There are a variety of ways that principals are trying to reward excellent behavior, identify students who are moving up the benchmark as far as literacy, and I like to go and just tell them thank you for what they are doing. I like to let the students know that I was once in their shoes, and they have the potential to do great things, and I want them to aspire to do great things. And I would say that for my colleagues on the board, one of the other greatest things that we enjoy about being on the board is graduation day.
Oh yeah.
Because it is like the super culmination of a student who has come through and, you know, really achieved to their best ability. Their parents are there, and it's a wonderful moment for them, and they're getting ready to start on the new phase of their life. And then we also get to hear all of the scholarships that our students won, which is pretty impressive.
It is, it is. So going to this particular question, what do you think are some of the issues, important issues that the school board is facing? Kind of list some of those.
Some of the issues that our board currently is facing right now is really one of national importance, and that is teacher shortages. So we know that the field of teaching is not as appealing right now because teachers want more salary, higher salaries, and there are a couple of different things that are going into that. But specifically in Hampton Roads, we're seeing an elementary teacher shortage. And Dr. Boone and Dr. Bray from Old Dominion actually just wrote a very timely piece in the Virginian Pilot about a unique program that Norfolk has to attract teachers to Norfolk Public Schools and retain them. So that's one issue that we face, attracting the best and the brightest to come and teach our students in the division. And then the other issues that we see as hot topics are our aging facilities. We just completed a very in-depth look at all of our buildings, and we know that they have some age and some wear and tear. The question is, how much do we invest in keeping those buildings up versus replacing them with something that's energy efficient and technology appropriate? So teachers, buildings, budget is always going to be an issue, but those are two issues that are pretty unique to Norfolk Public Schools.
It's a lot of work to be on the school board. And so we're honoring you all on this month, but also too during this week we honor the school board clerks around the state of Virginia. And this week we honor our school board clerk, Janelle Banks. What is her role, and how does she keep the board members together and the work flowing?
Well, Janelle Banks is a fantastic board clerk. We really appreciate all that she does for us. The board clerk functions as a liaison between the board and the superintendent staff. She helps to get all of our work sessions, basically all the paperwork, all our presentations. She functions as a conduit between the community, so if the community members want to come in and speak at public hearings, she takes care of all of that. She does a lot of work before our meetings and a lot of work after our meetings, so we really appreciate everything that she does for us. You know, she attends professional development as well, so she goes to the Virginia School Board Association, has a training conference. She learns about policies that are coming through that need to have updates, and she briefs the board on these policies. She keeps our minutes. I could go on and on and on, but Ms. Banks is critical to the board functioning.
And you both, your board and your clerk work in unison together to keep things flowing.
We do.
That's great. Well, come May, we're going to have school board elections. So tell us any advice for any of those individuals who are currently running for school board.
My advice to them is to really learn about what the role of a school board member is, and that can be done through going to the Virginia School Board Association and reading, watching some of their webinars. For me, I really did not understand or realize how much time commitment was involved. And I guess if you really want to do the work well, you have to invest your time. And that was a big surprise for me, but I love it. And I think it's totally worthwhile. The other thing that I will tell them is, unlike your city council members who might be committed to a certain area that they serve, we serve all of the schools in Norfolk Public Schools. We serve all of the children. And so while I might represent a certain area with a certain school demographic, I have to be cognizant of making sure that we're making the best decisions for all of our students. And so I want them to understand that. And always make decisions with the children, their best interest first.
Great advice. Congratulations and happy National School Board Appreciation Month.
Thank
and
you.
And we appreciate your service and the other school board members' service to us here at Norfolk Public Schools.
Thank you. I really enjoyed being here and discussing it, and it's an honor to serve.
Thank you so much. And we want to thank you for watching NPS Now. It airs weekly on WNPS Channel 47, or you can view us online at www.npsk12.com. If you have any great story ideas or information you'd like to share, email us at nps_news@npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.